Jerusalem was addicted to a dream, a golden dream. But beneath the gold was a grave. They called it Zion, the mountain of God. To them, the temple wasn't just a building, it was a hostage situation. They believed that as long as they kept the ark in the basement, God was obligated to protect their borders. It was the ultimate arrogance and a divine blackmail. The cedar didn't just smell like Lebanon, it smelled like security. The gold didn't just shine, it blinded them. They looked at the walls and saw a fortress. They looked at the ark and saw a weapon. They forgot they were dealing with the Almighty and started treating him like a talisman. The markets were full of thieves, the courts were full of blood. The holy city was rotting from the marrow out. But when they felt the shadow of Babylon approaching, they didn't repent, they didn't change. They just pointed at the temple and whispered the 3 words that would eventually destroy them. We are safe. But God doesn't live in houses built by hands, and he certainly doesn't live in houses built on lies. The gold was still bright, the rituals were still perfect, but the presence was already packing its bags. Jerusalem was about to learn a terrifying lesson. A building can be magnificent and still be empty. Well, the city sang its songs of safety. One man was screaming into the wind. His name was Jeremiah, the man they called the weeping prophet. Not because he was weak, but because he was the only one with his eyes open. He didn't preach from a golden throne. He stood in the dust of the gates, the place where the real world met the religious world, and he committed the ultimate sin. He told them the truth. He told them their holy temple had become a den of robbers. He told them the stone didn't matter if the soul was dead. To the people, this wasn't just a difference of opinion, it was treason. They wanted to kill the messenger because they couldn't kill the message. But miles away, in the dust of exile, another man saw the unthinkable, the prophet Ezekiel. He didn't see an invasion of soldiers, he saw an invasion of silence. Ezekiel watched as the kavod, the heavy, terrifying glory of the Almighty, rose from the ark. It hovered over the threshold. It paused at the gate. And then it moved east. The priests were still lighting the lamps. The choir was still singing the psalms. The smoke was still rising from the altar, but the house was empty. Jerusalem was guarding a bird cage after the bird had flown away. They were preparing to defend a throne, but the king had already left the building. Before the first Babylonian torch was lit, before the first wall was breached, the ark had become nothing more than a box. The heart was gone. Only the ribs remained. Then came the machine. The Babylonian Empire wasn't just an army, it was an eraser. And King Nebuchadnezzar II was its hand. They didn't just attack Jerusalem, they suffocated it. For months, the city became a pressure cooker of hunger and prayer. The people looked to the temple, waiting for the sky to open, waiting for the fire of God to fall on their enemies. But the sky stayed silent. Then the silence broke. The sound of 1,000 hammers, iron teeth gnawing at the holy walls. When the breach finally happened, it wasn't a battle, it was an exorcism. You could smell the death of an era, the scent of the legendary cedar of Lebanon, the wood of kings, turning into common charcoal. The pitch melted. The smoke didn't rise to heaven anymore. It just choked the dying. The untouchable fortress was being stripped like a carcass. The Babylonians were meticulous. They were accountants of war. They took the bronze pillars, they took the silver basins, they even scraped the gold leaf off the floorboards. They recorded it all, every spoon, every bowl. They wanted to show the world that Israel's God had been evicted. But then they reached the center, the room where the heartbeat of the nation lived, the Holy of Holies. The curtain was torn, the darkness was exposed, and the Babylonians stood there confused. Where was the trophy? Where was the golden box that leveled walls and killed thousands? The most famous artifact on earth was gone. The temple burned to ash, but the fire didn't consume the ark, because you cannot burn what is no longer there. The house was destroyed, but the throne had already vanished. So where did it go? The ark didn't just leave the building, it left the map. It became a ghost in the machinery of history. And where there is a void, humans fill it with legends. Theory 1, the labyrinth beneath. Some say the ark never actually left the mountain. They claim that as the Babylonians were battering the gates, priests were sweating in the dark, lowering the throne into a secret waterproof vault deep within the limestone, a time capsule of the Almighty. It's a tantalizing thought that today, as thousands walk the surface of the Temple Mount, the most powerful object in history sits 30 feet beneath their boots. But we may never know. In Jerusalem, archaeology is a political landmine. Some secrets are guarded by stone, others are guarded by soldiers. Theory 2, the Exodus before the storm. But what if it was gone long before the fire? The Bible stops mentioning the ark during the reign of Josiah. Some scholars suggest it was spirited away to Mount Nebo, the same mountain where Moses died. Others whisper that it was stolen by an Egyptian pharaoh or hidden by the priests to protect it from a corrupt king. It wasn't a loss, it was an evacuation, a sacred plan B. Theory 3, the shadow in Axum. Then there is the most famous claim of all. Thousands of miles away, in the highlands of Ethiopia, they don't say the ark was lost, they say it was saved. They believe the son of Solomon, Menelik I, brought the true ark to Axum 3,000 years ago. Today, it is guarded by a single man, a monk who never leaves the chapel, a man who will die without ever telling the world what he has seen. Is it there? The Ethiopian people believe it with their lives, but to the rest of the world, it remains a closed door. 3 paths, 3 secrets, 3 dead ends. The ark is not in a museum. It is not on a shelf. It has become a shadow that refuses to be caught. We spend centuries looking for the gold. We obsess over the location. We want to find a box. But what if the ark didn't get lost? What if it was retired? The ark was a masterpiece of wood and gold, but it carried a dangerous side effect. It tempted us to believe that God could be contained, that the creator of the universe had a physical address, that as long as we knew where the box was, we knew where God was. By letting the ark vanish, God broke the cage. He forced faith to stop being geographic and start being universal. When the temple burned, the religion of the building died, and in its ashes, the religion of the heart was born. Faith moved from the stone walls of Jerusalem to the parchment of the scrolls, from the hands of a few priests to the souls of every believer. The prophets called it a new covenant, not carved into heavy tablets of stone that stayed in one room, but written in the very DNA of our spirits. The ark didn't disappear because God lost his throne. It disappeared because he was upgrading it. Years later, when the second temple was built, the Holy of Holies remained perfectly empty. No gold, no cherubim, no ark, just a void. That silence was a message. It was a placeholder for something or someone greater. It was an admission that no box, no matter how much gold you plate it with, can hold the glory of the living God. Maybe the ark isn't missing at all. Maybe it's exactly where it was always meant to be. The box is gone, but the presence is everywhere. The Ark of the Covenant was never about where God sat. It was about where he was moving next.